Buddha, one who has awakened to their innermost courage, wisdom, and compassion. America, a land of hope and challenge. Today, members of the Buddhist organization Soka Gakkai International call forth their Buddhahood through the chanting of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo to overcome the difficulties of daily life and create a positive change in their communities. They are neighbors, parents, artists, teachers, everyday people. These are the real-life stories. Buddhist in America.
You know, it was the first time in my life that I ever really considered suicide because I felt I had nothing to live for. I didn't fulfill any of the expectations of my parents. I did not become a doctor. I didn't even graduate from college. But a series of events happened. My name is Michelle JOO, and I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. I, have a very small nuclear family, an older brother and a younger sister, and my parents. We grew up in the suburbs, really quiet. Because of my older brother who has Down syndrome, we were very isolated. It was really just, our family, and that's it. My mom actually had a dream when she was pregnant with me that I should play the violin. Also, before I was born, they had already determined that I will be a doctor like my father. High school was really tough. There wasn't very many Asian kids growing up. I was captain of the cheerleading team, but I was also skipping school every day and going to go smoke cigarettes at the McDonald's. I did some crazy things. I felt really alone and isolated. College, I was actually trying to escape from everything. I was really searching for my own identity. So I moved out to LA. I thought I was going to make this movie, and there was a guy out there. And at the same time, my parents had disowned me. I told them that I was in love with this boy, and it was because of them that I was so miserable because they wouldn't accept him. And so, of course, as soon as I got out there, I became extremely depressed and was, finally 3,000 miles away from home. I didn't fulfill any of the expectations of my parents. I did not become a doctor. I didn't even graduate from college. They didn't even know that. I'm the biggest loser on the planet, is what I felt. It was the first time in my life that I ever really considered suicide because I felt I had nothing to live for. That's when I reached out to a young man who I met just once at the LA Friendship Center, the Buddhist Center. I couldn't even look him in the eyes and just kept asking, why me? Why am I born to this family? And why is this so difficult? Why is life so hard? I just couldn't understand. He really just, with such compassion, was like, you chose this. You chose to be born to these parents at this time because this is a lesson that you need to learn in order to transform your family karma. I had never heard anything like that somehow I chose this. Everything seemed it was predestined. What he basically told me was that this is what Buddhism is. Buddhism teaches you that all living beings have this Buddha nature, this inherent potential inside, and I'm just like, what? It was seriously the most revolutionary concepts I'd ever heard. I've never ever looked at life from that perspective. So I'm willing to give it a shot. My very first prayer, and the one that I go back to all the time, was literally just to hear my own voice. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo was a way of communicating with the universe. I felt connected to myself, which I had never felt. And suddenly I felt like hope. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, which means devotion to the mystic law of cause and effect through sound or vibration, is the law of the universe. And that's what I've devoted my life to for the last 10 years, is really studying the law of the universe. I have been able to make a career as a musician, as a violinist, and travel the world, and all sorts of stuff that I thought was beyond anything that I'd be able to do. I'm actually about to move tomorrow. I'm moving to Washington, D.C. so I can start law school. I've always been so afraid of the law. I've been afraid of the policemen. I've been afraid of courts. I've been afraid of lawyers. I've been afraid of government. I've been afraid of all those things. I think my mission is to protect people and be a voice, for people who are afraid. After finding Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, I have been able to transform my entire family to one of, extreme sadness and living in fear and shame to one that is just absolutely joyful and connected and harmonious. And that actually is probably my greatest benefit.